Morning, everyone. Oops, sorry. Hang on. There, that should work. Welcome to the Monday morning business meeting, 10 o'clock business meeting. Jessica, we'll start.
Good morning, Jessica Warren, Human Resources. First item I have this morning is a request to fill from Public Works. One of their operators in Kalama has put in his resignation effective August 10th. So they would like to request to fill an operator 3 at Kalama shop, plus any domino effect that might occur from that.
No objections? Okay.
Thank you. And the next request comes from Corrections. One of their sergeants, Sergeant Belcher, has put in his official notice to retire effective September 26th. He's been here close to 35 years, so he'll be leaving. So we'd like to request to fill his position.
No objections? Okay.
Will it be easier to fill his position than the other 4 that are still vacant? Yes, you know, that's what I'm afraid of.
And then the only other item I have is an executive session at the end for collective bargaining.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see Kathy. Corrections?
Good morning, Marin Fox, Director of Corrections. I don't have a lot to report today. Our population is 226. We had 41 bookings over the weekend. We are still experiencing significant issues with fentanyl. And we've seen an uptick in inmates with significant medical issues as well. So we have some.
Could you flesh that out? So the usage inside the jail of fentanyl is?
Usage, well, people trying to bring fentanyl in,
Oh.
as well as the detox related issues that are going along with fentanyl detox.
Has fentanyl successfully been brought in to the jail by your knowledge?
Yes,
Have you figured out how it's done? It's so small that
it's very small and so on the body scan, it's a very small, and if it's powder, almost impossible to detect. But that does not mean we're not being vigilant and trying things. I know some facilities in the state have drug dogs. So we're looking into whether that's an option. I believe Chelan County has had pretty good success with that. We've also had it attempted to come in through the mail that we've caught a few times. Trying to bypass some of our systems by using legal mail because we can't go through legal mail in the same way, but we've been able to catch some of it that way.
stuff like that is so easy to bring across.
It's a different ball game, but some of the technology that you can use to detect and mail and that kind of thing I've looked into it, very, very expensive technology. But when it's new, it's always very expensive and sometimes the price comes down, but we're looking at different options, but it's a common, the issues we're facing are common across the state. We got the body scanner before most facilities or before any facility in the state, but at this point, almost all facilities have them, but
What's the maintenance on that? Are we in good standing on that machine?
they provided maintenance as part of the initial purchase,
Right.
quarterly maintenance. And then after that, you have to enter into an agreement for the maintenance. And it was, in my opinion, way too expensive. So we're just going to move forward with repairs as needed rather than enter into a.
So you're moving forward without the maintenance agreement?
Correct.
Yeah.
It was really a really high price.
We've had that machine now for 3 years.
I believe we got it in the end of like fall of 2017.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's been
3 years is actually more like 6.
Subtract
Time goes by.
COVID. COVID seems to
Yeah,
telescope everything.
And
Yeah.
I've seen the vendors, I mean, the technology's changed a little, but not enough that I would say it's worth scrapping that piece of equipment to get a new one. It's pretty much the same technology now. So, I mean, it works. It's functional. We catch a lot of things. We've had a few inmates trying to smuggle in larger amounts of things in the last few weeks that we have caught, but the small amounts of drugs, the small things are very hard to detect on that machine.
at one time you mentioned that the inmates would try to get chewing tobacco and reuse it and that kind of stuff. That's still going
Sure.
on?
I mean, they're always going to attempt to do, they're going to attempt to get away with whatever they can, but
One of the reasons I ask is because the nicotine is very concentrated also. You get a reagent grade bottle and a drop will probably drop you.
really, huh.
Yeah, it's pretty significant.
So other than that, I don't have a lot to report.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Kathy?
Apologize for being late for my slot. Kathy Funk Baxter, Finance Director. Budget update, we're continuing to get data entry done in our budget boss for 24 and 25. And I appreciate all the work the departments are doing to get their numbers in. It's looking pretty good. We have a report that I send you on a monthly basis, budget to actuals for some selected areas. For the month of June, it's still in process and it should be to you later this week. I'm running a little bit behind as our budget analyst has been away from the office the past few weeks. Federal funds, Title III, we have a public hearing set for next week, and today I'll get the agenda quick in for that. Risk management, I submitted a report to Doug Jensen of all the significant litigation or claims as of July 28th, and that was needed to support a letter to the state auditor's office. So I got that to him. Risk management, I'm setting up a risk meeting with the the Washington County Risk Pool and Doug Jensen to go over the status of all open claims and open litigations. I hope to have that this week. This is something I think that's done on a monthly basis by the risk office. I requested discussion with Phoenix Security for the contract extension to extend that contract through December 31st for the administrative building, annex, and museum facilities. And I'm also will be updating the hours of service on that amendment. And then I'm just awaiting their response. Once I have information back from the risk pool, last week we discussed their new assessments for 24. I'm going to set up a workshop. I haven't gotten information back from them yet, so I'll be doing that as soon as I get that. And I'd like to also use that opportunity to discuss the internal service charges that we'll be allocating to the departments and the methodology that we'll be using for the 24 and 25 budget. And then over the next few weeks, I'd like to have a workshop with the commissioners to also go over annual charges for other internal service centers, such as IT, things like that. So
Just how they're allocated out.
how the
Yeah.
methodology and how they're allocated out. And if there's any changes from previous or significant changes. And then I'm needing to take Thursday as a day of vacation. I have some good friends from Texas coming to visit. So I will be out Thursday.
Okay. As long as they don't take you back to Texas, we're good.
Yeah, I was going to advise them about
No, not going to happen.
about the kidnapping laws.
Yeah, no kidnapping. They may want to stay. It's still extremely hot in Texas. So, but anyway.
Any questions?
Question, the Title III stuff, could you refresh my memory on that?
Title III is the funds that proposals have been submitted by 2 fire districts. And it's about $18,000 that we have available to allocate.
Right, and
I think it's Title III from the Secure Schools funding.
Yes, from the
Congress
secure
passes.
rule,
So it's something like around $20,000 or so.
$18,000 for this year.
Yeah, the reason I even ask is because our chairman will not be here next week.
August 8th.
August 8th, you won't be here, right?
Yeah, whatever next Tuesday is.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to,
I don't think there's anything controversial there, but
I didn't see anything on it when we were talking about it earlier.
yeah.
You had given a recommendation how you wanted to split that up and it sounded fairly reasonable to me.
and as of this moment, I haven't received any public comment in our office on this either. This is the end of the 45-day period this week.
Okay.
Anything else?
Doesn't look like it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds like you're busy
Just one
enough.
question. How are you occupying yourself in your spare time?
Yeah.
What spare time? Yeah, so quite busy.
Yeah. Thanks, Kathy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kim Hort, IT Director. We are heavily underway on our phone system project. The timeline has extended out, and we kind of forecasted that due to the product lead time. So we're working with the vendor and then our former Avaya contract terms to true those up so we can continue to use the system until we go live with the Cisco product. We've
When they say extended out, did they give you a time frame?
Yeah, they said everything should be up and running by October.
Okay.
The original plan was to have everything done by August. So we'll follow up on that. Mike is about halfway through the departments on the risk assessment, and then we've also,
Just a question on the phones, who's the long path there?
who's the long path? It would be our Worldwide Technologies and Cisco, our new phone system.
Right, but are we the ones that are holding up the,
No, it was the product lead time to get
the
our,
product lead time?
yes, our core infrastructure in, like our servers.
Okay, thank you.
Going back to the risk assessment, Mike is over halfway done meeting with the departments, and I am very pleased. I've sat in on a few of those with just the collaboration and good investment from the departments. And then we've also conducted a CIS 18, which is one of the industry standards to see where we benchmark. So we're working with our risk pool to make sure that we're aware of our cyber hygiene and preparing for any changes in the policies in the future. We have scheduled interviews for our developer and our open technician position. And with the administration building changes, I'm looking into, we haven't committed into installing a access doorbell camera similar to the IT, to where the treasurer's office and auditor's office can manage who enters the building remotely. So rather than having to go to the door, see who's there type of a thing. So I don't know if you guys have any concerns or questions about that.
No, I don't. I might update our commissioners on work Mike's been doing with the other departments. I met with Kim and Mike. I don't know, I lose track of days, end of last week. And we talked about the Wednesday I'm back, whichever should be a Wednesday, I guess is the 3rd, 10th, so probably the 17th. 8/16, something like that. Okay, I asked him to put together so all of us could see what they worked with the other departments and what the other departments have told them their weaknesses, all that kind of stuff. So we can expect probably an executive session and they can download that to us at that point in time. Just so everybody's aware.
Questions or concerns on that? We are still having issues with our HVAC in the administration building. So I've been talking with Sean Rowe and Will Tasted in facilities and budget because it notes to me that this is to be an IT cost. So I'm coming to you guys for some direction on to how to approach that. In the past, it was managed by facilities. But since it's something specifically isolated to the needs of IT, because it is our server room, the cost they're saying should be ours. And so I just want to get direction on if that should be something from my reserves or if there's other funding you would like to use. Or we can do.
I kind of look over to Kathy.
Do you have a long-term plan for, let me back up, the HVAC problems is in the closet here where Lance's office is?
This building isn't really suited for a data center. So ideally, it would be better to be in a newer building with proper cooling and heating.
Yeah, no, I know, but we're not at that point where we know what a new
Understood.
the building is, and
Mhm.
we've talked about that before. We've had this server room there for quite some time, not my choosing, before my time. And so do you have a history of what the power consumption in there has been over time?
I do not have that.
Okay, I'm sure you've added more equipment, but the equipment has gotten more energy efficient. We're gonna have to figure out some ad hoc approach to doing the cooling there. There are ways to do that, like venting out into the hallway if you need to. I know it's not ideal, but we've got lots of facility issues, and we've got to stop doing expensive half steps. So are you currently getting alarms saying we're too hot in here?
Yes.
And how often, under what circumstances? You've done all the analysis?
Depending on what kind of analysis you're implying towards, but we're averaging about 78 degrees, which is a lot warmer than ideal temperatures for a server room.
Right, I know, but I cannot eat ideal. I can eat my machine stop because it got too hot. So that it may have occurred once or twice may be indicative of something else, and as if every day you have to do something. And of course, I would suggest putting an office in that space is probably not going to help the power consumption either, or I should say the heat production.
So right now we have multiple fans running in there, and then facilities has brought us a portable cooling unit.
Right, right. And I think until I see an overall plan and how we're going to do that, last time we talked, I mentioned, or I asked, and you confirmed that in fact, there's a lot of hard wire that comes into that closet, and to move it any place, it's a big deal, but it really needs a plan.
And is that facilities is telling them that they should come out of their budget now versus other? I think that's where we were.
Yeah, I tend to leave those things to those superior. Maybe Kathy or you would have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's not an ideal place. And I think we all get that. And we need some way to kind of how you can fix that on a more of a permanent basis instead of,
Savannah's also ready to jump in.
okay,
Good morning.
would you-
Oh,
go ahead,
ahead.
Savannah.
I was just going to propose that we continue with a meeting that it sounds like had been planned for this week. Mike Moss came in and mentioned that. Sean and others had discussed that and wanted to meet with Kim this week. So I would like to maybe hold off on any funding conversations until we kind of all meet together and then maybe come back to the board and discuss our options.
Yeah, that makes sense to
that-
me.
Sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Savannah.
Did
You're
you
off
want
the
to
hook.
add something, Kathy?
No, I don't have anything to add. I think there's questions as far as if it's a permanent addition to the building or not a permanent addition as well. So I think it's a good idea to wait till we have a discussion with facilities.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the chairman, one of the biggest problems with trying to move facilities, you can move something inside the building, you move it outside the building, and now you got to figure the connectivity.
Right.
And you'd think leasing lines or a bandwidth these days would be cheap, but we'd probably be seeing anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 a month fees for lines, depending on where it is you had to go. You'd stop and think, do I use a microwave link? Do I use an extant dark fiber and all that? And it's not getting any cheaper. So
Yeah.
I don't want to think we move temporarily and then have to do it again.
Do it again, right? No, I agree. Thank you.
And then the last thing is that I'm scheduled for vacation next week, so I will be out of the office.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I see our county treasurer in. Did you have something today or are you just sitting in? She's with you? Okay. And any miscellaneous? I don't see any hands. How long do you think, Jessica? 30 minutes on this one? Okay, so we'll go into executive session for collective bargaining. Looks about 30 minutes.
The board is extending the executive session for a period of 15 minutes until 11:09. The board is extending the executive session for a period of 15 minutes until 11:25. The board is extending the executive session for a period of 15 minutes until 11:37.
We're back from executive session. No decisions were made. Any other miscellaneous on the first meeting? We don't have any. We will adjourn that meeting and start up here real quick on our 11 o'clock.